Today I want to introduce and test the third of 3 LED video lights that I'm reviewing from PHOTTIX, this large, circular, and super thin LED panel right here. So, let's get into it. Hey, I'm Scott and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for watching. We do all kinds of tests, reviews, tutorials, unboxings, anything photo and video related. So if you like the content today, please do consider subscribing and make sure to hit the little bell icon to make sure you get notifications when new content is uploaded. First off, a huge thanks to Nuada, who loaned me these lights to review and made this possible. And if you want to check these lights out, of course, I will have links down in the video description below where you can purchase them in Japan and also, of course, worldwide. I will also have links down there to the 2 other videos in this 3-part series, so make sure to check that out as well. So now let's jump right in. So this light back here has very solid color reproduction values, and excuse me as I read the results off my tablet here. I tested it with my SCOTT C800 and I got a CRI of about 97 with R9 values around 95. Got an SSI of 75 in daylight and 83 in tungsten. If you care, the TLCI was 99 in daylight and 98 in tungsten, basically the same, but very solid values all across the board. The actual output color temperatures were also very accurate according to the LED readout on the back of the light, which is great, and the actual brightness of the light was a little bit higher than what they claim. In my test, I got about 1900 lux at the brightest point in the range, which seems to be about 4500 Kelvin. I got around 1700 lux in daylight and about 1500 lux on the tungsten end of the range. The Aperture 120D Mark II in the Light Dome Mark II, which I'm using as my key light right here, actually measures about 1500 lux at 1 meter from the surface of the softbox. So if we're talking about the actual output from the surface, the usable surface of the light, in that case you're actually getting more light from this light right here. The Light Dome Mini Mark II is a much more comparable size, about 10 or 15 centimeters wider than this light here, and I have that right up above me actually with the original 120D. And I measured around 1700 lux at 1 meter from the surface of that Light Dome Mini Mark II. So talking about comparable size modifier on something like that, then again you're still getting a pretty similar output. Of course, though, keep in mind that this light here from PHOTTIX is literally just over a centimeter thick, whereas the 120D in the Light Dome Mini is still about 50 centimeters thick, and the large Light Dome here is about 100 centimeters or 1 meter from front to back. Of course, these are all different types of light sources, but I thought maybe that would give you some kind of reference if you're familiar with the output from one of those lights. Anyway, moving on. This is an Edgelit LED panel, which means that the 360 LEDs are actually in the frame around the edge of the light pointing in. That means you get a very diffused light right out of the box without any of those weird multiple shadow effects you can get from traditional LED panels. I found that the light here was still very even from edge to the center, so there's no worries there. And again, it's really thin, which means that you're going to be able to use it in some incredibly tight spaces. Not only is it really thin, but it doesn't need any external control box either. Everything is built right into the light. There's no fan noise, and if you're using a V-mount battery with the, again, built-in V-mount battery plate on the light itself, you don't need any cables whatsoever to get this up and running. Combine all that with the very simple and straightforward display and controls in the back, the fact that this comes with a carry case, you can bring this light anywhere on location in the studio and you can have it up and running in a matter of seconds, no matter how tight the space is that you're working in. The one thing is, I'd love to have a remote control, but that's being picky. The one downside that's maybe not so picky is the fact that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to control the spill or modify this light any further than it already is. There may be a grid for it at some point in the future, I don't know, but I imagine it wouldn't be that difficult to design one. It's pretty similar to just any other LED panel. But as of now, without any dedicated mount, you really can't modify this in any way like you can with a typical Bowens mount LED, like the 120D Mark II for example. But being bicolor, super soft right out of the box, and having very high color quality output, and the fact that the mount here allows me to mount it in a traditional way like this, or even mount it horizontally if you want to get it out over your subject, this is going to be amazingly useful for both photo and video, and honestly I'm a little sad that I have to send it back. So if you have any questions or comments about this light, please do let me know down below and I will do my best to get back to you. Otherwise, don't forget to check out the other 2 videos in this series, and as always, thank you for watching.